Okay, so you already know what's not working. You just haven't stopped protecting it. Let's handle that. Okay? So the first thing that's coming to me about why you're still protecting the things you know it's not working, is because you have built in your mind, and it hasn't always even been written down. That's probably a part of it too, okay? In your mind, you have built long-term goals around short-term strategies that you're not even sure about. Let's get into it, okay? All right, so this is the thing, like, about keeping your word. And this is one of I'm going to just flow with it, okay? And this is what I'm getting. This is where the confusion comes in about, well, I want to do I keep my word or do I not keep my word? What do I do? What do I do, Queen? What do I do, right? Okay, so let me help you out from my own experience, because I can only talk from what I know, okay? I know all about it, okay? So what I've learned is I have this long-term goal, right? I need to make $1 million by this time. I want to help create this many millionaires by this time, right? Like, I have all these goals, but there are so many steps in that goal that I personally haven't even accomplished yet. So I'll make a big plan, right, around a goal that I haven't had enough experience in all of the steps in yet. So, which means there's going to need to be a lot of flexibility in between to figure it out, right? So if I hadn't yet made my first million, it's not that I can't have that goal, but I cannot build out a full plan that I'm going to vow to stick to when I am not sure that that's the correct route to go, right? I have to figure it out first and then maybe even do it multiple times before I can be sure that that's a blueprint to follow. Because even if you do it once, can you do it again? And then can you do it again? And then can you do it again? Right? That's what I've learned. So those are called waterfall plans in business. When you create a plan and you say step 1, step 2, step 3, step 76, and I'm going to do it exactly like this the whole way through. And a lot of businesses fail because of that, okay? Because it doesn't leave any room for flexibility. And this is what happens with, I'm going to call them old people, because their mindset is old. It has nothing to do with age. I met some 23-year-old people. Okay, so I met people who were 26 who were old people, okay? And I could just keep going. So this literally has nothing to do with age. It has to do with mind states and the ability and capacity to have flexibility within the way you see, be, and think, okay? Now, the more evolved business plan is called an agile plan, right? So agile plans is you go with smaller runs. This is what you do when you're trying to figure out what is a definite way to create a waterfall plan. So I'm not saying waterfall plans should be dismantled completely. I'm just saying they have a place. And usually waterfall plans are not at the beginning of a new business idea or a new business. Okay? You need an agile plan when you're creating something new, because you need space to figure out where's it going to go, how to flow. Do I really know what I think I know? You know what I'm saying? So agile plans, the way they go is you say, okay, I have this longer term, but let's break it, this long-term goal, right? I want to make my first million or my third million or my seventh million. Like, I've already done this, but now I want to do it in 7 weeks. When maybe it took you 6 years to do the first one, or 4 years, right? That's a big jump. But we're just throwing it out there because there are people making $1 million in a day. So I just want to increase your capacity for what's available and what really can be realistic when you practice and stay dedicated. because people are doing it every day. We have billionaires for a reason. Okay, so calculate how much money that is a day, right? Okay, so let's say you've had enough practice, or you've had a few practices, and now you really want to stretch it. And you want to do it in 7 weeks. That means you have to have a very quick, agile plan then that you're really dedicated to, right? And so you have to have the flexibility to say, every day we're going to change things if it's not working. And it might be 3 times a day we're going to change things if it's not working. If you need to plan that fast, depending on the capacity for your audience, the capacity for your resources and tools and financial resources, your capacity for that rapid change is going to vary, right? So if you have a realistic capacity for that goal, then you have to have also the realistic dedication to time and energy to manifest it in an agile manner versus saying, I'm going to do it like this every step of the way, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to stick to it. So this is what you have to have, an agile method to keeping your word. Okay? And so this is a next level of being honest, where you're not having to double back or feel bad because you didn't do what you said you're going to do. Think about it like improv, okay? If you've ever been to an improv show, they have like a backbone. There are like vertebrae to the story. Like there's specific stop points. But everything else in between, they are freestyling it. Okay? And that's kind of how I do these. Like I have specific bullet points. I created a map of how I do my videos. That's how I'm so consistent. I created a map based off of how I've done things in the past over several years and how my agile plans over 7 years. And I said, okay, what has worked for me and what has not worked? And then I gathered all the things that worked in a way that worked for my flexible lifestyle that I can stick to no matter where I travel to, or regardless of my resources, that I can stay consistent with. Because when I would try a plan in the past, if I didn't have the resources, or if things changed, or if things became stressful, I wouldn't be able to follow through because my plan wasn't agile enough. Okay? And so now, instead of saying, I'm going to follow this full script word by word, I have like little drop points, okay? And then I have a basic structure map of the flow of how each episode goes. And then it gives me a lot of flexibility. So even now, I'm just being straight up honest with you, because my voice is a tuning fork, and I do sing. I used to sing professionally on a stage with a jazz band, okay? But I have been a little bit out of practice, a little bit out of tune. So I use these episodes to practice in front of you, but I also practice on my own, okay? So this is kind of like my improv. So I don't force myself to say every episode you're gonna sing something, you're gonna make something up, but it's a soft, agile plan. Like, this is a great way to practice it and put out there that you do sing, that you do improv, that you do have flexibility in your personality, right? But I don't say I have to do this every time. I have to make a joke every time, because really whatever's a joke is natural for me. So if I start forcing it, then I start forcing myself out of what's natural for my personality. And that's something I also learned before, right? So sometimes a joke is natural for me, and it's because I genuinely think it's funny. But then if I have to start performing for you, it changes who I am. And those are the things I've had to learn through experience, okay? And that's the same thing about business. If you create an improv structure where it's like there's point 1, point 2, point 3, an opening, a middle, a close for your episodes, for even your trial agile runs, okay? What's the overall purpose? What's the overall theme that is a sub-focus within your overall larger goal, right? And then say what's the beginning, middle, and end. So I also always give myself an out, right? Because as I evolve, this is something that I had to learn over time, is as I evolve, what I do evolves, right? So once I'm finally married and I'm pregnant, I've already been planning for those type of things, right? Like when I'm married and I'm giving birth to multiple children or whatever's happening next, I'm already planning for how these episodes are going to shift. I'm already planning for what my next business moves are going to be because I know it's coming up, right? So I've embedded an agile plan for that. So you have to think about what's happening in your mind, body, spirit, family, business that could potentially help to this is called a SWOT plan too. Okay, so your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to your plans. If people don't SWOT out their business plans, this is also what comes up, and then you just start sticking to it because you said you're going to do it, but it's not working, right? And then when it seems like it failed, then you start feeling bad and you say, oh, I can't do what I said I'm going to do. Oh, it's not working for me. All that, right? No, it just means you need to evolve and become smarter, okay? And more flexible. And actually becoming more agile with how you grow and build and evolve, it is easier on your nervous system too. That's what I've learned. So way back in the day when I left corporate America, this is over 10 years ago, I knew then that I wanted to work from home. So it's been a process of me learning how to build systems that could support me working from home. It's still a process that I'm perfecting, where I could work from home because I always knew when I get married, I want to homeschool my children. I want to be there for my husband. I want to cook at home. I want to clean. I want us to be able to go do things. I don't want to be working all day and not be available, but I still want to be bringing in income. Yes, my husband's going to be taking care of the household, but I have my own missions that I need to do for single women. You know what I'm saying? Women who are preparing to be married, right? So I want to do those things, and I want to help them learn how to make income as well too. So even though I am taken care of, I still have a mission to help other women learn how to take care of themselves after abuse, after broken up relationships, after, low self-esteem situations. Like, the things that I've been through, it's my responsibility to create blueprints to help other people. That's my mission, right? So I have been planning for these things for years. So all the things I've been building in the quiet and the shadows that people know and don't have no clue about is because I've been building in an agile way. And the other thing is not everybody needs to know everything. So everything you're working on, especially if you're not sure about each step, sometimes it's good to do them on quieter platforms, okay? So if you're in real time right now and you look at my Instagram, you will see that I have very little followers and I'm following 0 people. And that's because I went through a cleansing in 2025. I realized all the people, I had a lot, and actually this is the 3rd time I've gone through a cleansing. This was the deepest cleansing I've ever done though, okay? Because I would have thousands of followers, but I'm very intentional about who has access to my energy, okay? And these are the type of guardrails that you get to have as a creator. You don't have to just fall into whatever system or platform says this is what you're supposed to do, or whatever trends that the quote-unquote trendsetters are saying you're supposed to do, because most of them are not true divine creators. They are followers who are just following something else, okay? Divine creators, we create our own path, okay? And so my trajectory was I'm trying some new things, and I have a lot of people. It's amazing how many people, when I go different places, say I watch you, but I've never seen them like one post. I've never seen them comment on anything. And I was like, wow, it's amazing how many people have access to my energy that don't interact, that don't reciprocate the energy, that don't give any type of feedback in the loop, And I was like, I'm cutting this off. I'm cutting it off. I need to reserve my energy and train my system to be able to have a true feedback loop. Okay? So I'm going from the ground up. Now, if you're seeing this in the future, you will see the results of this scientific experiment. Okay? This divine scientific experiment. Okay? So if you're in real time, you are at a luxury point and you have access to me that not a lot of people have, or that will ever see, okay, at this point, okay? So this is something I want to share about you. Is one of the reasons why you keep going and you know it's not working is because you want to stick to your word, but you haven't given yourself enough agility in your plans. So it's okay to stop and say, I know I said I was going to do this, but I need to rework it so I can keep my word and be successful in a righteous manner. Because sometimes also the word that you're trying to keep is it was built off of an unrighteous placement in your frequency. So when you evolve, your vision evolves. And this is why we need agile plans, okay? So even what I'm doing right now, many people don't know, I have a system, I have a plan, I have an algorithm and a formula that I have set within my AI collaborates, okay? So I'm not randomly just getting up here talking. I actually know what my topics are way ahead of time. I actually have a full plan laid out for 72 weeks, okay? So 72 weeks of planning is divine alignment. And so I actually, when you come and you hear the message, sometimes you might think that I'm doing a message because I saw your video or I saw something else. No, I actually got divine alignment on what the topics need to be for the next 72 weeks. And then when I come in, I really just channel. That's where I freestyle in between the points, okay? In between my own personal algorithm. But I have already asked God what's happening in the future so that I can already release my nervous system of having to show up every day and say, well, what should I say now? Because from experience, that did not work for me. And then when I would say I would go for 72 weeks, I couldn't go because it was literally draining in my energy to try and pick and pull every day what people needed to hear. But when I rose into this level of creatorship, I know that time is relative to position, okay? It's relative to sight, it's relative to experience, and it's relative to frequency, okay? So when I raise above in a higher frequency, I actually can go further, faster, and see what's ahead. That's part of having psychic abilities, okay? So I can already know what's coming up and then go along with it each point. So I'll go ahead and then I pull back and walk along into the future with you, okay? I know I went deep. I know I went fast. Okay, but sometimes you just got to go like that. It'll last. Don't worry. Okay? So some of these cards flipped. Let me turn them back over. Okay. What's your current relationship with uncertainty? Every single time. It's so good. You know what's on my mind. I'm like, yeah. Hey, give me the card. Oh, babe, you know it's hard. Every word you say is God. I'm like, yeah. Oh, let's get into it. Hey, it's a conversation, high level. Don't let the devil get in between the bevels. With sin, we'll win. Even if you got to get some new kin, okay? What's your current relationship with uncertainty? It's just confirmation, okay? You'll be less uncertain when you learn to be more agile and make a plan for agility. That's the key. That's the difference, okay? Truth. I communicate my truth clearly and with compassion. This also gives room for you to communicate your truth with where you're at now. So my 72-week plan comes from a foundation that I set years ago. And I've literally been working on how to communicate this foundation over and over. So there's been a consistency in my messages throughout time. Okay? But where I'm at now is the most divine because I've consolidated all the different ways that I've communicated. I'm a data scientist, okay? So a data scientist in training, I'll say that. And I have learned how to figure out which data was valid for who I am now. And that's what you have to do. Not all data is going to be valid. That's why some beliefs are going to be outdated. And we have to do regular checks, honestly, to see, is it a match for now? So although I have 72 weeks, I know I have the structure, I have the skeleton of what's accurate, but how I deliver it may not be consistent for 72 weeks. Okay? It may change. This background might change. By the end of the 72 weeks, it most likely will change. Okay? By the end of the 72 weeks. Okay? Who knows? I'm not even going to go there right now because I don't need nobody's negative energy blocking my life. I'm not the one, though. Don't mess with me. Okay? But I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared to have agility in my creations. And that's really the message that I have for you on how to be honest that it's not working. Okay? And stop protecting what's not working because you said you gave your word to it. Sometimes you need to change your word. You have to know when there's a difference between needing to change your word because it's not working. There's no fruit. There's no profit. There's no growth. That lane it's no longer alive. Okay? And then you have to move forward. You have to just keep moving forward. You can't hold on to something that has no life. Okay? And then there's I don't want to do the work, so I'm changing my mind. Or I have a shiny object over here that I just want to grab, so I'm going to change my mind. That's a difference. And you have to know the difference. You have to let God and your nervous system show you what's true. Okay? Here are 3 journal prompts to help you know the truth, face it, and handle it. Okay? Number 1, what strategy am I maintaining out of fear instead of alignment? Okay? Number 2, where am I over-delivering to avoid being seen clearly? Number 3, what would simplify if I admitted what I actually want? We're all in, guys. We're all in. Remember, we don't hide from the truth. We handle it sovereignly. Queen Mama Moon here. Peace, y'all.